I'm very pleased to introduce Chief of Police of West Goshen Township in Chester County, Pennsylvania, Chief Michael Carroll. He's had 41 years in the Pennsylvania law enforcement and has quite a reputation both on the national and international levels. In fact, he is presently serving as the Vice President of the International Chiefs of Police Association, having served as president of 3 organizations before that, the Chester County Police Chiefs Association, the Police Chiefs Association in Southeastern Pennsylvania, and the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association. But what I'm most proud of is the last 19 years he served as Chief of Police of West Goshen. In particular, however, he's also an instructor at Delaware County's Police Academy. And he also does a guest lecturing at several other institutions, including the United States Naval Academy. And this is particularly hard since he is such an avid Notre Dame football fan. And last year, as everybody here watched the game, I'm sure, Navy broke that one of the longest losing streaks in the nation. And I hope you weren't there that day at the Academy lecturing. Chief Carroll is an active member of a program that I strongly support. Fight crime. Invest in kids. I truly believe in this program because I spent my entire 36 or so years in the Navy serving with the youth of America. The average age on an aircraft carrier, 5,000 sailors, is 19 and a half. They're the youth of America. And we always knew, get them while they're young. And if you get it into the right cognitive reasoning, you'll show them the right way, they'll be mighty fine. This organization in particular is composed of police chiefs, prosecutors, sheriffs, and violence survivors that examine what makes our youth likely to commit crime and focuses on prevention strategies, like high-quality early education programs and after-school programs. This is what we all would like to do to get troubled kids back on the path towards personal achievement, to where we all benefit. He's recently been inducted to the International Police Chiefs Hall of Fame, and so it's real proud today, Chief, for me to sit here and introduce you. And thank you for coming.
Chairman Kildee, members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to testify before you today. My name is Michael Carroll. For 19 years, I have been the Chief of Police of West Goshen Township in Chester County, Pennsylvania. I am currently the 2nd Vice President of the International Associations of Chiefs of Police. I am also a member of Fight Crime, Invest in Kids, an organization of over 3,500 police chiefs, prosecutors, sheriffs, and violence survivors dedicated to examining the research on what works to keep kids from becoming criminals. When violence occurs, punishment is important and necessary, but we must also invest in proven approaches that keep at-risk kids from committing crimes in the first place. The research and my experience in law enforcement shows that quality after-school programs do just that. When the school bell rings, millions of children and teens head to the street with neither constructive activities nor supervision by caring, responsible adults, and violent juvenile crime soars. Research from across the country consistently shows that on school days, the hours from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. are also the peak hours when children are most likely to become victims of crime, be in automobile accidents, smoke, drink alcohol, or use drugs. Fortunately, quality after-school programs can cut crime and transform the prime time for juvenile crime into hours of academic achievement, constructive recreation, and community service. For example, in a study conducted in several U.S. cities, 5 housing projects with boys and girls clubs were compared to 5 receiving new clubs. 5 without boys and girls clubs. At the beginning, drug activity and vandalism were the same, but by the time the study ended, the project without the programs had 50% more vandalism and scored 37% worse on drug activity. An evaluation of an anti-gang boys and girls club approach found that the high-risk children and teens in these clubs showed decreases in several gang and delinquent behaviors. These youths also exhibited positive changes in their engagement or achievement in school. A study of the San Francisco Bayview Safe Haven after-school program found that among kids with prior histories of arrest, those who did not participate in the programs were twice as likely to be arrested during the 6-month initial intervention period as program participants. Among kids with no prior histories of arrest, those who did not participate were 3 times more likely as participants to be arrested during the same intervention period. When we invest in what works, it has a big payoff. Professor Mark A. Cohen of Vanderbilt University estimates that for each high-risk youth prevented from adopting a life of crime, the country saves up to $7 million. Despite the clear evidence that quality after-school programs can prevent crime and improve other youth outcomes, there remains a dramatic shortage of after-school programs. 14 million children are left unsupervised after school each year. Unfortunately, the fiscal year 08 funding for this program, just over $1 billion, is far below the $2.5 billion authorized under the No Child Left Behind Act. Given the inadequacy of current federal funding for after-school programs, it was surprising and disturbing that the administration recently proposed a deep cut of $300 million for fiscal year 09, a 27% cut. That's 1 out of every 4 kids now served who would be out on the streets after school. The proposed cut in funding for the 21st Century Community Learning Centers program would result in 300,000 fewer kids served by the program. Also troubling was a proposal that the program be reconstituted from funding for the establishment and support of quality after-school programs in high-need communities to funding for payments for individual kids to pay for after-school activities. This proposal was troubling in 2 ways. Number 1, it may lead to kids being relegated to lower quality programs, and 2, without seed money to establish programs, many high-need communities won't even have an after-school program, so kids will lose out on after-school opportunities altogether. The proposed cut and restructuring are policy directions that would result in fewer after-school opportunities for at-risk youth and would make our communities and all of our citizens more vulnerable to crime with all of crime's cost, both financial and human. Government's most fundamental responsibility is to protect the public safety. I commend this subcommittee for drawing attention to the need to reject the administration's proposal to cut the 21st Century Community Learning Center program by $300 million, as well as its ill-advised proposal to voucherize the program. I urge Congress to instead substantially increase funding to support and expand quality after-school programs that offer kids constructive activities during the peak hours of juvenile crime, with new designated funding for middle and high school youth who now experience the greatest unmet need and are at greatest risk of perpetrating or being victims of crime. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.